You can't fix what you refuse to face. Most people go through life fighting battles on the outside while ignoring the war within. They blame circumstances, luck, or people for their struggles, but rarely stop to look in the mirror. The truth is, the greatest obstacle standing between you and your next level isn't someone else. It's something inside you. That invisible barrier is often a weakness you haven't yet acknowledged. It hides behind your habits, your excuses, and even your confidence. It's the quiet voice that tells you you're not ready, not good enough, or not capable. And as long as you pretend it's not there, it quietly controls your life. Self-awareness is the beginning of freedom because it forces you to confront the truth about yourself. It's not comfortable. In fact, it's painful. It requires humility to say, I'm the reason I'm not further ahead. But that kind of honesty is where transformation begins, when you start to identify what's really holding you back, whether it's fear of failure, lack of discipline, negative self-talk, or emotional wounds from the past. You begin to take your power back. You stop being a victim of your own story and start becoming the author of a new one. Many people think awareness means weakness, but it's the opposite. Awareness is power. It allows you to understand your triggers, your patterns, and your limits. It helps you see how you react under pressure, why you avoid certain challenges, and why you keep repeating the same mistakes. When you can see clearly, you can choose differently. You can change what you don't acknowledge, and you can conquer what you keep denying. That's why the most successful people are often the most self-aware. They know where they fall short, and they face it head on. Becoming self-aware doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of slowing down and observing your own life with honesty. It's asking hard questions. Why do I keep giving up when things get tough? Why do I fear rejection so much? Why do I settle for less than I'm capable of? It's taking time to listen to your emotions instead of running from them. Every weakness has a root cause, and once you understand that cause, you can begin to heal it. Maybe your fear of failure comes from a childhood memory of being criticized. Maybe your lack of focus is tied to an inner belief that you're not worthy of success. The more you uncover, the freer you become. Self-awareness also demands accountability. It means no longer pointing fingers at others. The moment you say, I'm responsible for my growth, everything changes. You shift from blame to ownership, from helplessness to empowerment. You realize that change doesn't depend on luck or timing. It depends on your willingness to face yourself honestly. Every day becomes an opportunity to notice your own thoughts, your reactions, and your decisions. You start catching yourself before old habits take over. You begin to see patterns you never saw before. That's how growth happens, one moment of awareness at a time. The beauty of self-awareness is that it doesn't require perfection. It requires progress. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to be willing to see yourself clearly and commit to improving one area at a time. The moment you shine light on your weakness, it loses its control over you. Darkness only has power when it's hidden. When you bring your weaknesses into the light of awareness, they start to transform. You start making decisions that align with your higher purpose, not your lower impulses. You stop reacting to life and start creating it with intention. Every breakthrough begins with a moment of realization when you finally see what's been stopping you. That's the spark of awakening that shifts everything. It's the moment you stop saying, I don't know why this keeps happening, and start saying, I finally see it. Awareness doesn't change your life instantly, but it gives you the clarity and strength to begin. It opens the door to growth, and once that door is open, there's no going back. Most people are not defeated by failure, they are defeated by comfort. Comfort is silent, subtle, and seductive. It whispers to you, telling you to take it easy, to wait until tomorrow, to stay where it feels safe. It promises peace but steals progress. It gives you rest but takes away your edge. The truth is, nothing destroys potential faster than a life lived inside the walls of comfort. You weren't created to remain the same. You were made to grow, to stretch, to rise beyond what you thought was possible. But growth never happens in comfort. Growth begins the moment you decide to step into the unknown, to embrace discomfort, and to challenge yourself, even when it hurts. Comfort disguises itself as happiness, but it's often just fear in disguise. It's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of uncertainty. It convinces you that stability is better than risk, that good enough is safer than great, and before you know it, you're stuck, working hard to protect what you have instead of pursuing what you could become. You go through your routines, repeat your patterns, and call it life. But deep down, you know you're not truly living. Comfort doesn't want you to dream, it wants you to settle. It tells you to be realistic, to stop reaching too high, to avoid the pain of disappointment. But every time you listen to it, you trade your destiny for temporary ease. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has had to step out of comfort and into discomfort. The greatest transformations always begin with tension, struggle, and resistance. A seed must break before it grows. A muscle must be torn before it strengthens. A diamond is formed only under pressure. In the same way, your potential can only be unlocked through moments of challenge. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your invitation to grow. When you choose to stay comfortable, you choose to stay small. But when you choose discomfort, you choose development. The danger of comfort is that it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels normal. It feels deserved. You start telling yourself, I've worked hard, I deserve a break. You justify your lack of progress because at least you're not struggling. But deep inside, your spirit begins to decay. You lose your hunger, your focus, your fire. Comfort numbs the urgency that success requires. It makes you forget the reason you started, the vision that once kept you awake at night. You begin to play not to win but to avoid losing. And in doing so, you stop growing. To break free from comfort, you have to develop a new relationship with discomfort. You must learn to welcome it instead of running from it. Every time you feel resistance, remind yourself that it's a sign of growth. The pain of progress is always temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. Discomfort means you're expanding. It means you're alive, learning, and evolving. The more you lean into it, the stronger you become. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes normal, and what was once impossible becomes achievable. Comfort is not just a physical state, it's a mental one. It shows up in your thoughts when you say, "This is enough." It shows up in your attitude when you stop pushing yourself. It shows up in your choices when you avoid challenges that scare you. The only way to escape it is to make discomfort your new normal. Choose to do what others avoid. Choose to go where others hesitate. Choose to push past the point where you used to stop. Every small act of courage builds momentum, and that momentum will take you farther than comfort ever could. You can have comfort or you can have growth, but you can't have both. One keeps you where you are, the other takes you where you're meant to be. When you start choosing growth over ease, your life begins to expand in ways you never imagined. The doors that were once closed start to open. The confidence that once seemed distant begins to rise. The person you always wanted to become starts to emerge, not because life got easier, but because you stopped settling for easy. Your mind is the foundation of everything you experience in life. It is either your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. Every decision, every action, every emotion flows from the way you think. What you focus on expands, and what you believe about yourself determines how far you can go. The truth is, most people are not trapped by their circumstances. They are trapped by their mindset. You can have talent, opportunities, and resources, but if your mind is filled with doubt, negativity, and fear, you will sabotage your own success. The battlefield of life is not out there in the world, it's inside your own head. Until you master your mind, you'll keep fighting battles that were never meant to defeat you. Your thoughts have power. Every single one carries energy that shapes the direction of your life. If your thoughts are filled with limitations, your life will reflect those limits. If your thoughts are filled with faith, hope, and vision, your life will begin to grow in that direction. What you tell yourself daily matters more than what anyone else tells you. The most dangerous prison is not made of walls. It's made of beliefs. Many people live in invisible cages built by their own thinking. They say things like, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "it's too late for me," without realizing they are speaking defeat into existence. Your words follow your thoughts, and your actions follow your words. Change your thinking, and everything else begins to change. A weak mind magnifies problems. A strong mind looks for possibilities. The same situation that breaks one person can build another. The difference lies in perspective. When something difficult happens, your mind instantly starts interpreting it. It can say, "This is the end," or it can say, "This is where I grow." You may not always control what happens, but you can control how you respond, and your response comes from your mindset. If your thoughts are filled with fear, every challenge will look like a mountain. If your thoughts are filled with faith, every mountain becomes a stepping stone. That's why mental discipline is one of the most important forms of strength you can ever build. The mind must be trained. Just like a muscle, if you feed it negativity, it weakens. If you feed it truth, faith, and purpose, it strengthens. Most people spend hours feeding their bodies but starve their minds. They fill their days with distractions, noise, and comparison, and then wonder why they feel lost or unfulfilled. To strengthen your mind, you must be intentional about what you consume. Read words that inspire you. Listen to voices that challenge you. Spend time in silence to reflect and reset. Protect your mind the same way you protect your future, because the two are connected. Whatever dominates your mind will eventually dominate your life. The mind is also the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every time you stretch your thinking, you expand your potential. You start to see opportunities where there were once only obstacles. You start believing in solutions instead of focusing on problems. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily choice. You have to choose faith over fear, gratitude over negativity, persistence over excuses. You have to choose to believe that even when things go wrong, something good can still come from it. The more you practice this mindset, the more natural it becomes. The world around you will always try to shape your thoughts. It will try to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel small, to make you believe that success is for others, not for you. But when your mind is strong, you no longer bend to that pressure. You stop being controlled by what others think, and you start being led by what you know to be true within yourself. A disciplined mind gives you peace in chaos, confidence in uncertainty, and courage in fear. When your thoughts are aligned with your purpose, you become unstoppable. Your life will always move in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. If you believe you are capable, you'll find a way. If you believe you're defeated, you'll stop trying. The difference between the people who rise and those who remain stuck is not always talent. It's mindset. A strong mind builds strong actions, and strong actions build a strong life. Everything you want begins in your mind. Guard it, feed it, train it, and it will become your greatest weapon against anything that tries to hold you back. Motivation can inspire you to start, but discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement fades. Every goal begins with energy and enthusiasm, but that feeling never lasts forever. Life gets busy, emotions change, and obstacles appear. The people who succeed are not the ones who always feel inspired. They are the ones who stay consistent, even when they don't. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the mood has left you. It's the bridge between dreams and results, between intention and achievement. Without discipline, motivation becomes just a burst of emotion that fades as quickly as it came. But with discipline, even ordinary effort turns into extraordinary outcomes. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up again and again, even on days when you feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. It's the inner voice that says, keep going, when your mind tells you to quit. Many people give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. They wait for the right time, the perfect moment, or the feeling of inspiration. But progress doesn't wait for emotion. Progress rewards commitment. Every small, repeated effort compounds into something powerful. The greatest results in life come from ordinary actions done faithfully over time. Discipline also builds character. It teaches you to take control of your emotions rather than being controlled by them. When you wake up early to work toward your dream, when you resist distractions to stay focused, when you push through pain instead of running from it, you are training your mind to obey your purpose rather than your comfort. Every disciplined choice strengthens your inner core. It creates a sense of self respect and confidence that no one can give you or take away. You start to trust yourself because you've proven through your actions that you can rely on your own word. That trust becomes the foundation of success. Without discipline, even talent becomes useless. You can have great ideas, skills, and ambition, but if you don't have the discipline to work daily, your potential remains trapped inside you. Discipline turns potential into progress. It transforms vague dreams into visible results. The world is full of people with talent, but short on those with discipline. Talent might open doors, but only discipline keeps them open. The disciplined person doesn't depend on feelings, they depend on habits. They build systems, set boundaries, and commit to routines that align with their goals. That structure is what allows them to rise above distractions and keep moving forward while others stop. Discipline also requires sacrifice. It means saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. It means turning off the noise, ignoring the temptation to take shortcuts, and focusing on what truly matters. There will be moments when your efforts feel unnoticed, when results are slow, when giving up seems easier. But that's where discipline shows its true power. Discipline keeps you steady when nothing else does. It reminds you that growth is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. Every disciplined day adds another layer to your strength, even if you can't see it yet. The beauty of discipline is that it eventually becomes habit. What once felt hard becomes natural. The things that once required effort become part of who you are. You no longer need to push yourself as hard because the momentum of consistency begins to carry you. Discipline turns into rhythm, and rhythm creates flow. That's when you realize that success is not built on motivation. It's built on structure. It's the quiet, unseen effort repeated day after day that eventually creates the loud, visible results everyone notices. Discipline is the foundation of mastery. It's what separates those who wish from those who win. It doesn't demand that you feel ready. It only asks that you stay committed. Every time you choose to stay disciplined, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, and stronger than your limitations. Over time, that strength builds a mindset that no obstacle can break. Faith has the power to transform weakness into strength, but only when you truly believe that something greater is working through you. Every person faces moments when they feel small, uncertain, or afraid. Life has a way of exposing our limits, of showing us how fragile our confidence can be. But faith steps in where logic stops. It whispers in your heart, you are not alone. You are capable of more than you know. Faith doesn't always remove the storm, but it gives you the courage to stand through it. It reminds you that weakness is not failure. It's an invitation to lean on a higher power, to find strength beyond your own. Many people rely only on their own ability, and when they reach their breaking point, they collapse under pressure. But when you build your life on faith, you have an anchor that holds even when everything around you shakes. Faith gives you perspective. It helps you see that your struggle has purpose, that your pain has meaning, that your delay is not denial. When you believe that every experience is shaping you for something greater, even your weakness becomes a tool for growth. Faith turns your breakdowns into breakthroughs because it helps you see beyond the moment you're in. Faith is not blind optimism, it's a deep conviction that even when things don't make sense, there is still a plan unfolding. It's the ability to keep moving when you can't see the full path. It's trusting the process when the outcome is uncertain. Fear tells you to stop, but faith tells you to step forward anyway. Fear limits, faith liberates. When you choose faith, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start walking in courage. You stop saying, I'll believe it when I see it, and start saying, I'll see it when I believe it. That shift in mindset changes everything because life always rises to the level of your belief. Faith also transforms how you see yourself. It reminds you that you are not defined by your weakness, but by your potential. You may not feel strong, but faith says you are capable. You may not see progress, but faith says the seeds are growing beneath the surface. You may not have all the answers, but faith says you're guided even in the dark. When you hold on to faith, you begin to draw power from within that you didn't even know existed. You stop living as a victim of your circumstances and start living as a victor over them. Faith is also what keeps you steady when life feels unpredictable. There will be moments when the plan doesn't go the way you expected, when doors close, when people leave, when efforts seem wasted. In those moments, fear tries to convince you that it's over, but faith gives you the strength to wait, to trust, and to keep going. It helps you believe that what feels like an ending may just be a new beginning in disguise. Faith turns frustration into patience and confusion into peace. It allows you to walk confidently through uncertainty, knowing that every step you take in belief is shaping your destiny. Faith doesn't eliminate weakness, it transforms it. It doesn't make life easy, it makes you stronger. Every great achievement, every story of resilience began with someone who refused to give up because they believed something greater was possible. Faith fuels persistence. It reminds you that progress isn't always visible, but it's always happening. When you move with faith, you start to see obstacles as opportunities and limitations as lessons. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That's how weakness becomes wisdom and pain becomes power. The more you live by faith, the more fearless you become. You stop doubting yourself because You know that your strength doesn't come only from you, it comes through you. Faith gives you the courage to act, the peace to wait, and the strength to rise again after every fall. It becomes your light when everything else goes dark. With faith, you no longer see weakness as defeat, but as the starting point for divine transformation. You can't grow in an environment that keeps you small. The people, voices, and surroundings you allow into your life shape your mindset more than you realize. Growth requires the right atmosphere, and not every place or person supports that. When you stay around negativity, your spirit becomes heavy. When you surround yourself with complacency, your vision starts to shrink. The truth is, you absorb the energy of the environment you're in. If you spend time with people who constantly complain, doubt, or settle, their habits begin to influence your own. You start to think like them, act like them, and slowly become like them without even noticing. That's why breaking free from environments that nurture weakness is essential if you want to reach your full potential. Every person is like soil, and your dreams are the seeds. The soil you plant yourself in determines whether you'll flourish or fade. If you keep planting your dreams in toxic soil, around gossip, negativity, or laziness, they will never grow the way they should. You need to plant yourself in soil that challenges you, inspires you, and stretches you. Growth thrives in accountability. It thrives in inspiration. It thrives where people push each other higher instead of pulling each other down. You need to be around people who remind you of where you're going, not just where you've been. Sometimes you outgrow the people who were once right for you. It doesn't mean you're better than them, it means your direction has changed. Growth often requires separation. It's not an act of pride but of purpose. When you start to elevate, your frequency changes, and not everyone will align with that. Some people are comfortable staying in cycles of fear and mediocrity, and if you stay with them too long, they'll keep you there too. You can love people from a distance and still protect your peace. You can care for others without allowing their mindset to poison your own. Protecting your environment is not selfish, it's necessary. The right environment doesn't always feel comfortable at first because it challenges you. It makes you question your limits, your habits, and your excuses. It places you among people who expect more from you, who call out your potential, who hold you accountable when you fall short. Being around growth-minded people forces you to grow yourself. It keeps you sharp, humble, and hungry. When you see others striving for excellence, it ignites something inside you to do the same. That's why isolation and comfort can be dangerous. They create the illusion of peace while keeping you stagnant. Your environment, also what you consume daily, the content you watch, the music you listen to, the conversations you engage in, these are all feeding your mindset, shaping your beliefs, and influencing your emotions. You can't expect to think positively if you constantly feed your mind negativity. You can't expect to stay focused if you're surrounded by distractions. Every day, you're either feeding your purpose or starving it. The people and influences you allow in are either watering your potential or draining it. You must choose wisely what and who you allow into your space, because what enters your environment eventually enters your heart. Creating a growth environment doesn't mean waiting for the perfect people or perfect place. It means being intentional. It means seeking mentors, reading uplifting words, spending time in spaces that challenge your thinking, and staying away from gossip, drama, and small mindedness. It's about building an inner circle that believes in your dreams, even when you doubt yourself. Surround yourself with people who make you better, not bitter. People who speak life into you, not fear. People who see your potential, not just your past. When you change your environment, your energy changes. When your energy changes, your actions change. And when your actions change, your entire life begins to transform. Growth multiplies where it is nurtured, not where it is neglected. The company you keep determines the direction you go. Every step you take toward better influences, stronger voices, and higher standards takes you closer to the person you were meant to become.